Okay, so we're going to, like I said, tonight's lesson is based on feast days and the Sabbath days. Why are they important? So we're going to go to Colossians. Hopefully you got your pad and your pen out so you can take your notes. And we're having this class, and it's for the Hebrew Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, the Jews, who people say we are, okay, who are scattered across the globe.
Has arrived.
And this truth is starting to spread. It's starting to go all over the place. And we got brothers and sisters waking up in different parts of the globe now, which is a beautiful thing. So we pray that it continues to grow and that we unify in spirit and in truth, and that we come together so we can bring forth the day of decree for the Most High to come back on earth and rule again, you know. So we're going to go into Colossians 3 and 10. Colossians 3 and 10. Colossians 3 and 17. I'm sorry. Slack it. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of HAMASHAYACH Yahushai, giving thanks to the power in the Most High by Him. Okay, so we do everything in word and deed by HAMASHAYACH Yahushai. So we're going to go to Genesis 2 and 1. And like we said, we're going to talk about the feast days. Why are they so important? You know, America has done away with the feast days. They don't think that the Most High's feast days are important. But when you look at some calendars, they have some of the feast days on the calendar. They have the Day of Atonement. You see Passover on there from time to time. You know, Feast of Tabernacles on some calendars. Some calendars actually have it. There may be a day or two off, maybe 3 days off.
Has left the conference.
But for the most part, the feast days are supposed to be done in unison by the children of Israel. The feast days are not for everybody. The feast days are mainly for the children of Israel. We got to remember, this is a covenant. The feast days are considered a covenant. Just like the Sabbath day is a covenant. Just like putting a tattoo on yourself, this breaking the law, that's a covenant. You know, we have different laws, statutes, and commandments we're supposed to follow. Feast days are one of them. So we're going to start off with the Sabbath day. So Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day the Most High ended His work, which He had made, and He rested on the seventh day from all His work which He made. And the Most High blessed the seventh day, and sanctified it. So what is sanctified? So what does sanctified mean? Anybody knows what sanctified means? You hear that in the Christian churches. I'm sanctified. I'm sanctified. A lot of the Christians don't even know what it means. What does sanctified mean? That's kind of close, but that's not what I'm looking for. Anybody else want to take a stab at it? Sanctified.
Holy.
It does mean holy. Okay, sanctified means holy, but it means to separate. It means to set apart, to make free of sin. That's what sanctified is. So when you hear that word sanctified, it means to separate. So the Most High separated the children of Israel from all other nations because He wanted them to be clean, holy, like you said. Okay? That means to separation. So Genesis 2 verse 3. And the Most High blessed the seventh day and sanctified it. So He separated that day from all the other days, because that in it He had rested from all His work which the Most High created and made. So that's what He did in the beginning. He sanctified the seventh day. So if the Most High rested on that day, you can't tell me that that day is done away with, that the Sabbath day is done away with. If the Most High rested on that day, I guarantee you that day is not done away with. That's how I say, you know, a lot of these different religions and churches believe that you go to church on Sunday, not even understand what the Sabbath day is. So on that Sabbath day, which is Saturday, just like you, Most High. But the Sabbath day, people are sinning all day long. Most of your wickedness occurs on that day. Okay, and then they go to church on the first day, and everything is all messed up. You know, you can't repent. You can repent any day, but to go on the Sunday, what sense does that make? The Most High hears your prayers mostly on the Sabbath day or some kind of holy day before he hears it on a regular day. Okay, so let's go to Exodus 20 and 8. That's why when we have the Sabbath day, we should be resting, praying, fasting, you know, talking to one another about the word. All right, this is very important. Exodus 20 verse 8. Exodus 20 verse 8. All right. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Most High thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So you're going to have in the new kingdom converts, right? They're going to be our servants, right? The other nations. So they're going to be what you call Jewish, or not Jewish, but they're going to be Israelite converts. All right? So if they're our servants, guess what? They got to keep the Sabbath days. They got to keep the Sabbath days too. For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Most High blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. I'm going to go back, I'm going to read it again. For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them. Okay, so now, one brother asked me before, if there's beings in outer space, do they keep the Sabbath day? All right, that's a good question. Think about it, that's a good question. He said, if there's beings in outer space, do they keep the Sabbath day? That would be really angels. All right, those are the beings in outer space, celestial beings. Yes, they keep the Sabbath day. Everything that was created keeps the Sabbath day. Everything. Okay. Wherefore the Most High blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So he made that day holy in the whole universe, the entire universe. All right, all galaxies keep the Sabbath day. I'm gonna go to Isaiah 58 verse 13. And by the way, the Sabbath day is not considered a sad day. A lot of people say, oh, that's a sad day. Sabbath day is not a sad day. The Sabbath day is basically being free from your labor. That's what it really means, to be free from your labor. Okay? So if he said to keep your mouth, or refrain your mouth from doing the wickedness on the Sabbath day, let's go to Isaiah 58 and 13. Isaiah 58 and 13. This is going to be crucial tonight. I'm going to give some gimmies on this one, on this class, that a lot of brothers had questions about. There's another brother once asked me, I don't know, he might be on the conference call tonight, but he said, how do we know that the Sabbath is the Sabbath if Esau tampered with everything? Okay, how do we know it? How will we know that the Sabbath day is really the Sabbath day? Okay, so I'm going to answer that too tonight. Okay, so let's go to Isaiah 58 and 13. Isaiah 58 and 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight. See, you're supposed to call the Sabbath a delight. The holy of the Most High, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing
has left the conference.
Not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure,
Has left the conference.
nor speaking thine own words. See, we're supposed to keep the Sabbath day and not do the things that causes us to sin. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Most High, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father. for the mouth of the Most High has spoken it. So we're supposed to refrain our tongue, right? He said, in order to do his ways, we got to hallow the Sabbath day. Let's go to 1 Peter 3 and 10. 1 Peter 3 and 10. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. That's one of the reasons why he wants you to keep the Sabbath day holy, because when you start dealing with the other heathens, the heathens cause you to talk crazy. They cause you to talk about things in the world, right? So how can you refrain your tongue when you're around the heathen? All they talk about is wickedness. That's why he kind of wants you to be at home resting, where you don't have to deal with nothing. Sometimes you can't even rest at home, because you might be living with someone who's not observing the Sabbath day, but you're trying to do it. Okay, that was the problem that Job had. Job had that problem. While he's keeping the Sabbath day, his children out there partying. That's why he had did a sacrifice for his children's sins in the first chapter of Job, because they were celebrating birthdays and stuff on the Sabbath day. That's why they got killed. Okay, so let's go to and what happens mostly on the Sabbath day is birthdays. You see all these little kids having their birthdays on the Sabbath day, right? That's the custom of America. Every Sabbath day, somebody got a birthday. Somebody having a celebration of a birthday somewhere. Okay. Let's go to back to Isaiah 58 and 13. We never celebrated birthdays. You know, that came with the customs of the heathen. All right, the Israelites never did that. I think I'm gonna probably make a little video on that. Isaiah 58. Verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from thy Sabbath, turning away your foot is doing opposite of what the Most High wants you to do. It says, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Most High, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. See that? Then shall the Most High delight thyself in the Most High, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth. See, a lot of us being in Babylon, in this place called America, Babylon. Some of us have jobs. Sometimes you can't get off work. You may put in for the Sabbath day, but they might not honor you to take the Sabbath day. You know, especially when you first get the job, and they put you through a 9-month probation period before you actually get cleared. Some of you brothers and sisters may have to actually work on that day. You know, so you got to understand, being in captivity has its burdens too as well. You know, so we have to be careful of judging another brother based on the Sabbath day. If he or she has already put in to get off on the Sabbath day, and their boss don't honor it, and that's their means of feeding their family, and there's no other income coming in, we got to deal with that. You know, and that brother or that sister got to continue to strive to try to get that day off. They might have to. It may even take for that person to work there. They might have to build up their trust in that supervisor, working there for maybe 6 months or maybe even a year before they actually say, okay, we'll give you the Sabbath day off, because we know that you're a Hebrew. We know that you're a Jew. You know, it might take a year before that happens. The Most High understands that. Okay? Let's go to Jeremiah 17 and 27. But if you can help it, if you could get the Sabbath day off, you can request it as soon as you get there, that's important. Request it, so you can get that day off. Now, I have a job from time to time. I work on the Sabbath, but really, the type of job I do on the Sabbath, they allow me not to do nothing, as long as I'm just sitting there. I'm normally reading my Bible on that Sabbath day. They don't even bother me, you know, and that's a blessing in itself, because the supervisor keeps the Sabbath, you know. So, you know, I thank the Most High for blessing me in a job like that, where I can actually observe the Sabbath. Sometimes I'm better off there than actually being at home keeping the Sabbath because no one's bothering me. Okay? Jeremiah 17 and 27. Jeremiah 17 and 27.
Jafari Sharla has arrived.
Jeremiah 17 and 27. Let me get there. Hold on. My scriptures are getting old. This book here is almost turning brown. I've been turning the pages so long. It ain't white no more. All right. Pages falling apart. Jeremiah said, and that's good. When your Bible look like it's falling apart, that means that you're using your Bible. Okay. If it's still nice and crisp, that means you don't go into your scriptures enough. You don't read your Bible enough. You know, you want your Bible to look like it's falling apart. All right. Marked up with precepts everywhere. Jeremiah 17 verse 27. But if you will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden, even entering in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire the gates thereof, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched. The Most High takes the Sabbath days very, very serious. Okay? He sees when you're trying to get that day off. He sees that. He sees your effort. Okay? So I'm talking about the Sabbath days before the feast days because I want you guys to understand the Sabbath days. There's many lessons out there on the Sabbath day, but I want our brothers and sisters to understand that the Most High sees when you're trying to get that day off if you're working or if something happens. Now, in the case of an emergency,
Has arrived.
in the case of emergency where you got to take your child to the hospital, do it. Take your child to the hospital. The Most High allows that. Okay? Didn't Christ healed, or Yahushua Christ, he healed on the Sabbath day. Most of his miracles were on the Sabbath day. Okay? A lot of people don't understand that. He healed on the Sabbath day because the Most High was open to that. That's why most of that day is very, very important. If you're going to pray for somebody that's sick, that's the day to do it, on the Sabbath day. You know, that's the day that miracles happen, on the Sabbath day. Okay? Let's go to, when it speaks about the gates in this verse, it says, but if you will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear burden, even entering in the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. Now what it's talking about there is during that period, whenever the Sabbath day happened, the Israelites, the Levite priests used to shut the gates. So you wasn't going into the merchants around that time. They would shut the gates and lock it, padlock the gates. You couldn't buy nothing. I think there's a precept on that. Let me go. Let's go to Nehemiah. Let me show you what I mean. They would padlock the gate so you couldn't go out and spend money. Because it wasn't that the Israelites that they were worried about. It was the other nations that they was worried about. Okay. Nehemiah. Is it 13? That's Ezra. Nehemiah 13 and let's start at 16. Nehemiah 13 and 16. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein. Okay, Tyre is the Hamites, the Africans. It says, there dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and in Jerusalem. So these other nations came and sold it. Just like today, who's in our neighborhood selling the stuff? Our people are not selling the stuff. It's the other nations. They sell it to us on the Sabbath day. They don't care. Then our people buy it. They right there in the hood. It says, then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them, what evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus, and did not our power bring all this evil upon us, and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath? This is Nehemiah getting on the Israelites. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. See, they locked them gates That's what they did. They made sure that they... See, if one Israelite sinned, all of us sinned. So they just locked the old gates. We dwelt in the same neighborhood. Okay? It said, and some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. See that? In Jeremiah 17:27, we just read about the burden. A burden is something, basically a burden is something that you can put off to another day, other than the Sabbath. You know, you could take a burden and put it off to another day other than the Sabbath. Alright? You could buy another day. Alright? And some of our servants set I at the gates, that there should be no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and sellers of all kinds of ware, like Tupperware, all that stuff, okay? So the merchants and sellers of all kinds of ware lodged within Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? Question. If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. Nehemiah wasn't playing with these people. He was going to take them out for causing his people to sin against the Most High. He says, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath. So what was he going to do? Just spit on them? No, he's going to put his hands physically on them and beat them down. This is Nehemiah. He was serious because those people knew they shouldn't have been selling to us on the Sabbath day. They were sneaking once or twice. Okay? So that's why the Sabbath, that's why the gates were locked. Our forefathers locked the gates because of that. See? I'm going to read verse 22. And I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves, and that they should come and keep the gates to sanctify the Sabbath day. There it is, separate the Sabbath day. Remember me, O my power, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of thy mercy. See? So everything that we do, the Most High remembers. Okay? So that's why he says, honor my Sabbath forever. He remembers that. Because the Most High kept the Sabbath day. Let's go to John 9 and 11. John 9 and 11. Gospel of John 9 and 11. Sabbath day, Sabbath day, Sabbath day. You know, Christians don't believe in the Sabbath days. They say every day is a Sabbath day. That's a lie. The devil's a lie, right? That's what they say. The devil is a lie. John 9:11. He answered and said, a man that is called Yahushua made clay, and anointed mine eyes, and said unto me, go to the pool of Siloam, and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight. So Yahushua healed this man. He put some mud on his eyes and told him to go wash it out. What, did that mud have any medicine in it? Nope, it had no medicine in it. Why did Yahushua use mud? Because if he told the man your eyes are healed, the man wouldn't believe. That's how weak our people's faith is. So he had to take something physically and put it on him. Told him to go wash it off. Then the man will believe. This is like the doctor. You go to the doctor, you're not feeling good. You want the doctor really to give you some medicine when you really don't need none. Right? The doctor say, I give you this, try it 3 times a day. You don't even need the medicine sometimes. As long as he's giving you something, it's in your psyche, it's in your mind, you thinking that it's okay, this is going to heal me. See that? So Yahushua had to put mud on this man's eyes because he was in that same predicament. He didn't have belief. Okay, so Yahushua, he just put that little extra on him so he would believe. Verse 12. Then said they unto him, where is he? He said, I know not. They brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was blind. And it was the Sabbath day when Yahushua made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he received his sight. He said unto them, he put clay upon my eyes, and I washed, and do see. Okay? 16. Therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not of the Most High, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. See, these Pharisees, they have ordinances. They had like 39 ordinances on the Sabbath day. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Alright? So they made their own book. That's why Yahushua had to come back and tell them, man, you guys are off, man. You know, it's lawful to heal on the Sabbath day. You know, they were saying you can't do nothing on the Sabbath day. It says, therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not of the Most High, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Others said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division among them. See, had the Pharisees understood the way of healing, they would have been healing people on the Sabbath day too. So just think about all the people who wasn't getting healed on that day, because the Pharisees wouldn't do nothing. Sad, man. Our people today are the same way. Verse 17. I mean, what do they do in the church? Come down to my altar so I can put my hands on you. They be trying to heal people all day long in the church. Don't nobody get healed, right? That's because it's not the Sabbath day. Okay? Verse 17. They say unto the blind man again, what sayest thou of him that he hath opened thine eyes? He said, he is a prophet. But the Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind and received a sight until they called the parents of him that had received his sight. Okay, so basically that's the point. So Yahushua did lawful on the Sabbath day by healing. Let's go to Matthew 12 and 11. Matthew 12, verse 11. Matthew 12, verse 11. And he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep? And if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days, plural. See that? It is lawful to do good on the Sabbath day. So Yahushua is giving them an example. If you got a dog and he runs away, it's lawful to go hunt down your dog on the Sabbath day. Alright? And look for him. Basically, Yahushua came and made sense out of the law. That's basically what he did. Let's look at the New Testament for more examples for the Christians that don't believe that Sabbath day still exists. Let's go to Acts 15 and 21. Let's see what Paul did. Acts 15, verse 21. This is Paul speaking. It says, for Moses of old time hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath day. So every Sabbath day they preach the good gospel about the law, statutes, and commandments. Moses brought the law, statutes, and commandments from the Most High. That's what they talked about, the laws. Okay? Every Sabbath day. Let's go to Acts 17 and 2. 2 chapters over. Acts 17 and 2. And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the Scripture. So how was he reasoning? He was giving them the sense. He was giving them the understanding of Yahushua, why he came and how he taught the laws and why he died. Because the Jews still believed in not human sacrifice. They still believed in sacrifice of sheep and cattle. They still believed that. So Paul had to recalibrate their minds in believing why Yahushua died. He died to do away with the sacrifices. Okay, and the judgmental laws. Okay, so let's go from there. Let's go back to Genesis 2. We're going to get into the feast days now. Let's go to Genesis 2 and 1. So the Sabbath day is a very important day. Don't let anybody tell you that it ain't an important day. Genesis 2 and 1. And Sundays are really pagan days. I got some documents that shows you that the Edomites actually kept their Sabbath days on Sunday. Not the Most High Sabbath days, but their Sabbath days. Okay, and I haven't forgot about the how to determine the Sabbath to the day too. Why it's on point. Why today's Sabbath is the Sabbath, which is Saturday. This is Genesis 2 and 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day the Most High ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. So remember, one day with the Most High is like 1,000 years. So this was the 7,000th year. Adam was made the 6,000th year. Okay. Verse 3. And the Most High blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which the Most High created and made. Alright. So that's Genesis. We're going to go from there. Let's go to Leviticus 23. So I wanted to show you, again, the Most High created the Sabbath day so he could rest. And man was made to rest on that day too. Leviticus 23:1. And the Most High spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Most High, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. So what are the feast days? I'm gonna go to the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Okay, so we got 7 feast days. We got the Feast of Purim, the Feast of Lights, Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of Atonement, the Day of Atonement, which is coming up, Feast of Trumpets, which is coming up on the 23rd. All right, we got the Feast of Pentecost coming up. Pentecost passed in April. And but you got the feast of you got the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? You got 7 feast days. 7 feast days. So the feasts were the sacred festivals of the Israelites, which were occasions of public worship. Public worship. That means all of us gathered together. There were 7 in all. So there were 7 feast days in all. Okay. And the convocation. Anybody knows what a convocation is? Let me see. I might have to look that one up. I just want to get the correct definition for convocation. Where's my dictionary? Convocation. Some of you go to college, they got convocations in college. Okay, where people come together. So let me find a convocation in the dictionary. I'll give you correct understanding of what convocation is. Convocation. Here it is right here. Convocation. An assembly. So convocation means an assembly. Okay? Convocation means an assembly. So it says, where were we at? Verse 2, Leviticus 23:2. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Most High, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, or holy assemblies. Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. There we go again. And holy convocation. So wait a minute, the Sabbath day is also in line with the feast days. Okay? So every feast day, that's considered a Sabbath day. So if people say the feast days are done away with, they are ignorant. They are just completely ignorant. The feast days are Sabbath days. Okay? 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no. That's what we do when we go to camp on Saturdays, on the Shabbat. That's a holy convocation when we come together. That's why we separate ourselves when we put the posters in front of us so nobody can come across. That's what we separating ourselves, right? It says, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. Okay, so we know in their seasons represents, in Genesis it talks about when the Most High made the 2 great lights, right? The Most High made the 2 great lights, and when he did that, he separated by his seasons. Genesis 1:14. Let me read this. And the Most High said, Let there be lights in the firmaments of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. You see? For seasons. So each season has a feast day. Each season has a set amount of feast days. You get it? Okay? So let's go from there. Let's go to verse 41. So in this chapter, Leviticus 23, you got every feast day in here. This is like Genesis 10 and 1 is the book of nations. Leviticus 23 is the book of the feast days and the Sabbath days. Okay, so never forget that. Genesis 49 is the table of the prophecies of the 12 tribes. Genesis 49. That's the prophecy of the 12 tribes of Israel. You got certain chapters that are like a table for the whole Bible. This is one. This is another one. This is a table. You should highlight this whole chapter in pink or something. You know, this is very important. Okay, Genesis chapter 10. You should highlight that in yellow. The whole chapter. You know, in parts of 11 and parts of 12 talks about it. Okay, so where was we at? So let's go to verse 40. What I say? 41. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Most High 7 days in the year. So 7 feast days, see? It shall be a statute forever in your generation. So was this ever done away with? No. These were here in the beginning. What was the first law? What was one of the first laws in the beginning? Anybody know? What was the first law broken? What was the first law broken in the beginning? Anybody want to take a stab at that? Anybody know? What was the first law? Just think of the commandments. What was the first commandment? What was the first commandment? Come on, y'all. I know y'all out there listening. Anybody want to take a pull at it? Lahab, you out there? Jamar? Alright.
I keep missing, so I'm going to just shut my mouth. That's the most I just need to do right now.
Alright, well. Anybody else want to take a stab at it? Okay, so the first law that was broken in the garden was idolatry. When you read Exodus chapter 20, it talks about the 10 commandments. Idolatry is the first one. The Most High said, "Thou shalt not build image in the presence of me." Right? Idolatry was the first one broken because he told them to stay away from the tree. And what did they do? They went to the tree, and Satan beguiled them and said, "You'll be like gods." Right? So that was idolatry. The second one was thou shalt love thy brother in thy heart like you love yourself. That's where Cain killed Abel. Okay, so all the laws were always here. They were always here. The Sabbath day, that was here. Okay, that was already here. Okay, so all the laws, he just wrote them again because when we went into the land of Egypt, we forgot our laws. We forgot them. Just like here in America, we forgot most of our laws here in America. It's the same thing. Okay, but we knew the laws prior to that. What do you think he did with Abraham when he separated him from his family? He was teaching him the laws. Abraham was walking in the laws. Okay, so we got to remember that. Joseph, Jacob, they knew the laws. They already knew them. Okay, so let's go to where are we at? Leviticus. Let's go to Psalms 105 and 8. Psalms chapter 105 and 8. Psalms chapter 105 verse 8. He hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. And y'all think the laws are done away with? We might not even be at 1,000 yet. We might be at like 700 generations. He said he commanded to 1,000 generations. You know what I mean? 1,000 generations. When you look at Matthew chapter 1, that's barely, 40-something generations is right there. All the way to HAMASHAYACH. It's not even that many names. It covers one page. You know? He said 1,000 generations. Okay? So let's go to Sirach 43 and 6 in the Apocrypha. Sirach 43 and 6. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 43, verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season. We read that in Genesis 1. So based on the moon, you're going to know what month it is. You're going to know how many months done passed based on the moon. You got the new moon, you got the crescent moon, you got the full moon, okay? So 28 days, 29 days, it shows the cycles of the moon, right? He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast. See that? So based on the moon, not the sun. You got a lot of brothers believing in the sun, solar stuff, eclipse or equinox. They don't say nothing about following the equinox. This is the moon. It says he made the moon also to serve in her season. We're going to get it right out the scriptures. It says for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast. So from the moon we get our feast days. Okay? That's why he says on the third moon, the second day, have a feast day. He always based it on the moon. When Noah went into the ark, it was like, what, the third or the fourth moon? Or something like that. Or the second moon, he went into the ark. I think it was around Pentecost is when he went in. Around April. Okay, but it says from this moon 7 days after going to the ark. So he based everything based on the moon, and everything always happens on the feast days. If he comes back on the earth, guess what day he's coming back on? It's going to be a feast day. That's why I observe the feast days, because those are the days that the Most High is going to come back. He's not going to come back on a regular old day. He's going to come back during the feast day. And who's observing the feast days? Israelites. Nobody else is observing the feast days. That's why you're going to catch everybody like a thief in the night. Okay? That's why we have to keep the feast days. It says verse 7, from the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name, right? Which is the moon. Increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above. Who are the armies above? Who are the armies that are above? Those are the angels. Okay? So the Most High has an army up in the heavens. It says, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven, the beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of the Most High. At the commandment of the Holy One, they stand in their order and never faint in their watches. Okay, so the Most High is telling you here how He created everything and what they mean. So the moon is a representation of how we keep our feast days and where we are during the time of the year. Okay, that's why Issachar had that gift to read the stars. Okay, let's go to Colossians chapter 12. Not Colossians, what I want to say. Not Colossians. What's after Chronicles? First Chronicles chapter 12 verse 32. First Chronicles chapter 12 verse 32. And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do. The head of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment. So Issachar, that was his gift, reading the stars. When you look at the Aztecs, the Incas, and the Mayas, they made that 2012 prophecy. They was reading the stars. That's Issachar's gift, to read the stars. How you think they got from Jerusalem over to America? They was following the stars. They knew when to leave on the ships. Okay, so Issachar has that gift. All right, let's go from where we leave from, Sirach. Let's go to Numbers 10 and 10. Numbers 10 verse 10. Numbers chapter 10 verse 10. Also in the day of your gladness and in your solemn days means it's supposed to be a private meeting of the Israelites on that day. It's supposed to be, on a solemn day, like the Day of Atonement, when you're fasting, that's solemn. I mean, you're grieving, right? You're asking the Most High for forgiveness of your sins. That's solemn, And in the beginnings of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings. See, it says in the beginning of your months. So every new moon, we're supposed to take our shofar, aka trumpet, and blow it. That's a law. That was a covenant that was given to Jacob. We're supposed to blow the trumpet. I'll show you in a minute. It says, in the beginnings of your month, ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, which we don't have anymore, that they may be to you for a memorial before the Most High our power. I am the Lord your power. So now we do it for our spirits and for our souls when we blow the trumpets, because our bodies are living sacrifice. When you read Romans chapter 12, our bodies are a living sacrifice. Let's go to Psalms 81:3. We sacrifice them for Yahushua, right? To come back on earth. By our bodies, by us grieving and sitting patiently waiting. Psalms 81:3. Let me show you that this was a law for us to blow the trumpets. All this stuff has meaning. When you see brothers with a menorah, you see brothers with a shofar, all this stuff has great symbolic meaning. Okay? And we're supposed to still keep this day. Alright, don't take it for granted. Psalms 81:3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon. See? In the time appointed on our solemn feast day. So on the new moon, that's a Sabbath day as well. Okay? For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the Most High of Jacob. So this is a law that we're supposed to keep. Blowing the shofar, blowing the trumpets on the new moon. All you brothers and sisters, you should have a shofar. If you have sons, sisters, teach your son to blow that shofar on the new moon. That should be like your welcome mat on your front door. You should have a shofar in your house and a menorah there. Okay? Alright? So it says, blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel, and a law of the Most High of Jacob. See? So we're supposed to do that. It says, this he ordained in Joseph for a testimony. So you got the law, statutes, and testimonies there. When he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. Okay? So this was a law to blow that shofar. Okay? Let's go to Exodus 19:1. What I'm showing you is just, rules that we're supposed to be following. Alright? Concerning the feast days and the Sabbath day. So I told you why we keep the Sabbath day, and the things that we could do on Sabbath day is like healing, praying for one another, stuff like that. Those things work on the Sabbath day. But when I show you the feast days, so we get into the feast days now, I want to show you what happens on the feast days, why they're important. Exodus 19:1.
Has arrived.
Alright.
Has left the conference.
Okay, Exodus 19:1. Man, the heck was that? Exodus 19, verse 1. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. So it says the third month. Oh, here we go. It's talking about the third month right here, right? So it says, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came into the wilderness of Sinai. So this is the third month. So I'm going to read verse 10. Let's go to verse 10. And the Most High said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. So the Most High is getting ready to show these people something. So he's telling you on the third month, he's telling them to wash themselves. This is what you normally do for a holy day, right? You cleanse yourself, you wash yourself, you purify yourself, you do away with things, you don't do pleasurable things that you would normally do. That's what the Most High, he's teaching them what to do on the feast day. Okay, verse 11. And be ready against the third day, for the third day the Most High will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. So he's telling you what he's going to do. So now he's telling you what? The third month, and he said the third day from the third month. So you get the new moon to shoot up, you blow the shofar, then you count 3 days, you purifying yourself, right? Okay? So we're going to find out what day this is. Verse 14. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. So he's telling the people, the men, not to have sex with their wives on this day. Why? Because it makes you unclean, right?
Courier has arrived.
It makes you unclean for a day. Right? From sundown to sundown. At the end of sundown, you're clean again. But he's telling Moses to tell the men not to lay down with their wives, because he was trying to get them to sanctify themselves for the Most High. Verse 16. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceedingly loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. So the Most High came down on the third day. Okay, just like in Genesis. Okay, just like in Genesis. So this is the question for the brother who said, how do we know that the Sabbath day is really the Sabbath day? Okay, so right here is telling you the third month and the third day, right? So the third day, let's go to Genesis 1 and 14 again. Genesis 1 and 14. Genesis 1 verse 14. And the Most High said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, sundown to sundown. And let there be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And the Most High made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. This is the sun and the moon. He made the stars also. And the Most High set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And the Most High saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. So if this was the 4th day, what would that make that day? Anybody know? What would that 4th day be if he made the moon in that day? What would it be? It would be the first day of the month. Okay? That would be the first day of the month. So what day was the Sabbath day? It came 3 days after the new moon, right? Which would be the 7th day. Okay, of the 7th year. So you got 4th day, and then you got the 7th day, which is what, 3,000 or 3 days, right? 3 days with the Most High. So you got the new moon. 3 days later, you got the Sabbath day. So we based our Sabbath day based on the new moon during the days of Passover. Okay, so that's why we got the Sabbath day. That's why the Sabbath day and the new moon are not on the same day year round. That's why you can't use the new moon and say 7 days from the new moon is the Sabbath day. You get it? You cannot say 7 days from the new moon is the Sabbath day, because the Most High made the new moon on the 4th day, and the Sabbath day was the 3rd day after the new moon. Okay? So now you got the Sabbath days on their day, and you got the new moon on its day. Every once in a while, the new moon falls on the Sabbath day. Okay? Which are 2 Sabbaths in one. Okay, I don't know if I confused you, or I don't know if I made sense for you. But the Most High made the new moon on the 4th day of the on the 4th day in the beginning, and 3 days later was the Sabbath day. That's why here in Exodus it says the same thing. We read Exodus 19 verse 1, in the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. That was the 3rd month. Okay? And then it says in verse 10, 3 days later, it says, verse 11, and be ready against the third day. For the third day, the Most High will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. So that was the Sabbath day.
Has left the conference.
That third day was the Sabbath day after the new moon, just like in the beginning in Genesis. Okay? So when you look at your calendar, a lot of times the Sabbath day does fall around Passover or that first month of the year. It'll be 3 days later or 4 days later, and mainly 3 days later. Okay, so let's go to verse 19 through 23. 19 through 23. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spoke, and the Most High answered him by voice. And the Most High come down upon Mount Sinai, on the top of the mount. And the Most High called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Most High said unto Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Most High to gaze, and many of them perish. So he's telling the people, do not let them come through and look at me, because they will die. That's why I say you cannot look at the Most High and live. Alright? And let the priests also which come near to the Most High sanctify themselves, lest the Most High break forth upon them. And Moses said unto the Most High, the people cannot come up to the Mount Sinai, for thou charges us, saying, set bounds about the mount, and sanctify it. And the Most High said unto him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priests and the people break through, to come up unto the Most High, lest he break forth upon them. Alright, so the Most High is only allowing the priests to come and meet with him. Now, up on that mountain, you had the chariots of the Most High ascending on that mountain. So you had thousands upon thousands of angels on top of that mountain. And Moses saw all that. That's why the whole top of the mountain was burnt. You had all these chariots up there. Okay? So let's go from there. So we see that the Most High came down on the Sabbath day when the people came together, right? So every time the people come together on the feast day, guess who's coming with them? The Most High is going to be there. That's why we tell you to purify yourself on the feast day, because that's the day that the Most High can come and speak with you. Okay? Let's go to Exodus 20 and 18. Exodus 20 and 18. Like the summit, like all those brothers was in the summit in New York, Washington, D.C., all those brothers came together. The Most High is right there. He's right there with them. Alright? Those who purified themselves. Alright? Exodus 20 and 18. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not the Most High speak with us, lest we die. So it's the same thing with the 144,000. The Most High is just going to pull them up to deal with him. He's going to instruct them. They're going to come back down and teach the people. The 1/3. Alright, so the same thing happened here. That's why only the priests could go up on the mountain to deal with Moses and the Most High. Okay? But the people could not. Let's go to verse, what did I just read? 19, let's go to 20. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for the Most High is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where the Most High was. See? Now what day did he speak to Adam? On the Sabbath day. What day is the Sabbath day? The seventh day. That was the seventh day, which was the 7,000 years. So the Most High, just like he came and spoke to these people on this day, on the Sabbath day, he spoke with Adam on that rest day. Adam was resting during that time period. Alright, so was Eve. Remember, Adam lived 969 or 39 years? So that was during the Sabbath day period. He was born on the 6th day. We don't know if it was the middle of the 6th day or the end of the 6th day. We don't know. It says Joshua 24 and 1. Let's find another day where the children of Israel came together and the Most High came down. All these happen on the Sabbath days. Okay, which is a holy convocation, whether it be feast day or just an average new moon or a Sabbath day. Let's go to Joshua 24:1. Joshua chapter 24 verse 1. And Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem, and Shechem was up in the mountains, and called for the elders of Israel, and for the heads, and for their judges, and for the officers, and they presented themselves before the Most High. And Joshua said unto all the people, Thus saith the Most High, thy power of Israel, your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in old time, even Terah the father of Abraham, and the father of Nachor, and they served other gods. So basically, they all multiplied together up here on the mountain, and this is when the Most High came down to talk with them. It's the same thing. The Most High showed up. Okay? I just want to show you, give you examples of how the Most High came and dwelt with us. That's
has left the conference.
Let's go to Deuteronomy 16:60. So this was a feast day too that they got together. Remember, Israel came together 3 times a year, but they had 7 holy days. 3 times a year they met in Jerusalem at the Mount Zion. Let's go to Deuteronomy 16:16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Most High thy power, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, that's 1, and in the feast of weeks, that's 2, and in the feast of tabernacles, that's 3.
Has arrived.
And they shall not
has left the conference.
Somebody having phone problems. This is, and they shall not appear before the Most High empty. So 3 times a year the children of Israel are supposed to meet together in a holy place for the Most High. Okay? So that's why Joshua, in the book of Joshua, they all came together. 3 times a year they're supposed to do that. We're almost done here. Let's go to Deuteronomy 31:10. Deuteronomy 31:10. 31:10. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the years of release, in the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay? When all Israel is come to appear before the Most High thy power in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read the law before all Israel in their hearing. Gather the people together, men and women and children, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, and they may hear, and that they may learn and fear the Most High thy power, and observe to do all the words of this law. And that their children which have not known anything, okay, because our children don't know nothing, may hear and learn to fear the Most High your power, as long as ye live in the land, whether ye go over Jordan to possess it. So they was coming together and they was going out there and they was teaching. Just like the brothers teach today. It's the same thing. And the Most High said unto Moses, Behold, thy days approach that thou must die. Call Joshua and present yourselves in the tabernacle of the congregation, that I may give a charge. So this is when they met. All the children of Israel, when they met with Joshua, this is when they met. And Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves in the tabernacle of the congregation. Then the Most High appeared. So the Most High appeared in the tabernacle in a pillar of a cloud. And the pillar of a cloud stood over the door of the tabernacle. See? So the Most High came down again when the children of Israel came together. And the Most High said unto Moses, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people will rise up and go a-whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land whither they go, to be amongst them, and will forsake me and break my covenant which I have made with them. This is a prophecy. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured. That's what happened to us. And many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, Are not these evils come upon us? Because our power is not amongst us? That's how we felt. And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evils which they shall have wrought, in that they are turned unto other gods, just like today. Our people are turned unto other gods. So it was prophesied way in Deuteronomy that we would go off. It was a prophecy. Just like in Jeremiah, when he said, you walk away from my Sabbath days, I will turn my back on you. In Jeremiah 17:27. Okay? So what they did is they came together and they went out in the streets and they said the same thing. They taught to the children of Israel. Let's go to Nehemiah 8:1. Let's see what Nehemiah did in his days, because they found the book. They had lost the book for a period of time. They didn't always have the law when they went into captivity. See? If they had it, they had to translate it. Just like we had to translate it to English, it was translated back then from the ancient Hebrew into the Aramaic Hebrew. Okay? So when Nehemiah and Ezra was reading, it was translated into Aramaic. Okay? Let's see, this is Nehemiah 8:1. And all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate. And they spoke unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Most High commanded to Israel. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding upon the first day of the seventh month. There go the first day again, which is the new moon of the seventh month. Is the first day of the seventh new moon. See that? And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate. So this is right around Day of Atonement, or the blowing of the trumpets. Okay, so they came together again when? On the feast day. Again. Okay? And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate, from the morning until midday, before the men and the women, and those that could understand. And the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law. See? So they went out on the Sabbath days, they went out on the feast days, and they taught the people. So it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. So when Christ said that, he was also talking about the feast days. A holy convocation. Let's go in the New Testament and find out where they came together and something happened. Now every time Israel came together on the feast day, something always happened. Okay? And it happens today too. Normally wars break out. There's something normally happening on feast days. Always. Okay? Pay attention to the news on the feast day and see what's going on. What's brewing. Something's always brewing right around the feast day. And the whole world is asleep to what day is coming. Let's go to Acts chapter 2. Let's start at verse 1. Acts chapter 2 verse 1. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. See? So the day of Pentecost comes after the day of Passover, the Passover. Okay? Pentecost, Pente in the Hebrew means 50. Like the number 50. So you after the day of after the Passover, you're supposed to have Pentecost, which is 51 days, right? So within that 51 days, you're concentrating yourself for the Most High within that 51-day period. Okay? It says, and when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. So they all came together again. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and began to speak with other tongues, as the Spirit gave them utterance. Okay? And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. So these are Jews that went back to Jerusalem 3 times a year. When they came together on this feast day, guess who came and dwelt with them? The Most High came and dwelt with them again. So every time we come together as a nation on a feast day, the Most High comes and dwells with us. Okay, y'all get that understanding? So on Sabbath days, a regular Sabbath day, you can heal on a Sabbath day. Somebody just might get healed on a Sabbath day. On a feast day, the Most High comes and sup with us. Let's go to 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha. 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 2. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 40. And this is what's going to happen. If we keep his law, statutes, and commandments, along with the feast days, which is part of the law, statutes, and commandments, those are the holy covenants, this is what's going to happen in the end days. 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 40. Take thy number, O Zion, which is the people. Zion is the people of Israel. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. So who's going to shut us up? Just like when Nehemiah shut the gates, he shut it up so the children of Israel would be saved from breaking the laws. So who's going to do it this time? The angel of the Most High. He's going to close the gates for all those brothers and sisters who are keeping the laws. It says, the number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Most High, that thy people which have been called from the beginning may be hollow, separated. I, Ezra, saw upon the mount Zion a great people. Now this falls in line with Revelation 7 and Hosea 1 and 10, the great people. I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Most High with songs. See? We're going to be singing this word to the Most High. And in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest. And this goes with Revelation 2 and 17. Taller than all the rest. And upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, when I marvel at greatly. Okay, so like I said, Revelation 2 and 17 goes with this. So you can't say that the Apocrypha don't have precepts that match up with the New Testament and the Old Testament. There's precepts all through here. It says 44. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? This is Ezra speaking. He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of the Most High. Now are they crowned, and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them? So he's curious on who is this man that's crowning these children of Israel, these that stood stiffly for the Most High. This is, Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them, and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the HAMASHAYACH. Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way, and tell my people what manner of things, and how great wonders of the HAMASHAYACH thy power thou hast seen. So that's what we're doing now. We're going out there telling our people that HAMASHAYACH is going to bless those who do his will, keep his commandments, law, statutes, keep his feast days, keep all of the days to the best of their ability. So that
This is the word of the Lord of hosts. I took you from the pastures and from following the sheep to be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone, and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.